Hey everybody and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode we review Smoke Wagon's newest release, Smoke Wagon Rye Bottled in Bond. Run that video. Okay folks, so before we get into today's video, just a quick thank you to all the new subscribers out there. You know, heck, thank you to everybody who is a subscriber there. Hopefully you're enjoying the content that we're putting out. It really inspires me that people are subscribing and liking the video. So I really appreciate that, guys. I'm really humbled by that, and girls. So before we get started here, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I'm thinking about doing, if we can get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, I want to do kind of like a free giveaway, which will be on a live stream, which I'll probably do when we get 1,000 subscribers. So keep an eye out for that and watch some future videos, and we'll fill in the rest of the information about that moving forward. With that being said, we review today Smoke Wagon's Bottled in Bond Rye. This is their second forage into ryes, as they previously did 4 of those. I think it was the experimental ryes, or the different char levels. So I wasn't able to try those, so I wasn't able to know if they were any good or not. Kind of sounds like, from what people talk about them, that they were really good. However, I think this is going to become more of a staple of the Smoke Wagon lineup. I think it's something that's going to stick around for a while here. So for me, I picked this up recently here. I've opened it, had a little bit of a drink already, but I want to do a review for this today. Just looking at the bottle here. Same bottle as the uncut and filtered, but just a white glass they're using this time here. Green label here is kind of like standard. They have like the small labels on the back and the front here, and then one on the top. It says Smoke Wagon Bottled in Bond Straight Rye Whiskey, 50% ABV or 100 proof, of course, because it's bottled in Bond. And then a nice green and silver label at the back there. Looking at the cork, they decided to go for a real cork this time. I think the younger wasn't a real cork, so kudos to that. Not much of a cork popper there, kind of a very loose cork, but it all goes to the same place, I guess. So color-wise, kind of looking like a light honey color. So let's get this poured into the glass here. Okay, so with this rye, it's what folks call a barely legal or just legal rye, because you need to have 51% of the material needs to be rye for it to be a rye whiskey. And with this, that's exactly what you get. You got 51% rye and 49% corn. So straight off the bat, it's definitely trying to appeal to bourbon drinkers. You know, why the heck not? Because they have a massive whiskey lineup, which is mostly all bourbons. So why would you not already appeal to the customers you already have? So let's get into the nose on this glass. Like I said, kind of like light honey on the color here. Quite viscous, quite thick, looks quite oily, which is always a good sign. It's going for a nose here. This is really sweet for a rye. That's the first note I get. Normally when you're going for like a nose on a whiskey, you don't kind of look for flavors at all. You kind of decide or not if you like the nose. But I couldn't help get away from that sweetness. There's definitely a vanilla presence on this, as well, as you would expect for a rye that has a 49% corn. I'm also getting a lot of honey, so the sweetness is like a honey or like a vanilla cream sweetness. I'm definitely getting like a white fruit, kind of like an apple or like a juicy pear, which is quite typical, actually, a note that I tend to pick up from Smoke Wagon. I'm also getting some mint as well. I guess because the whiskey is quite sweet on the nose, it's kind of more of like a spearmint as opposed to like more of an abrasive peppermint, so it's like a sweeter vanilla spearmint. Maybe a touch of like eucalyptus as well, like entangled with that mint. Really nice nose, actually, really inviting. Not picking up too much rye or black pepper or anything like that yet, but let's go in for a taste and see if we can get some of those notes here. Cheers. So first thing I noticed, it is also sweet on the palate. You get a really nice rich sweetness up front, kind of like that honey sweetness from the beginning. And then you do get some of that black pepper that comes through as well. You get a bit of spice, a bit of like that black pepper, like rice spice there on the front of the palate with the sweetness. But you don't get any heat on this whatsoever. I know it's 50% alcohol, but it drinks more like a 40% alcohol, 80 proof whiskey, if I'm honest. Let's go in for another taste here. Not picking up any of the white fruit or the pears like I was on the nose. It's just kind of dominated by like a really rich honey sweetness note, and it kind of balances out really nice with that black pepper and rice spice note. Not picking up any licorice, nothing like that. No licorice, no dill, and no kind of like mint on the palate, even though I was picking up kind of like the mint on the nose. Really pleasant palate. Let's have a little think about the finish here on this one. So again, through the palate, as you get that sweetness, that kind of drops off when it comes to the finish then. It's kind of like quite the opposite of the finish is. You get a more of a dry finish. I'm getting like a oak tannin note with like a lot of barrel char there as well. I'm also getting a little bit of that fruit that's coming through now. I'm definitely picking up a little bit of the apple or that little bit of pear still there. Ever so slightly, but it's definitely still there. It's got a long finish actually. Kind of goes on and on and on. And you still have that nice sweet kind of coating in your mouth from kind of when you started there on the palate. Does a really good job of coating your mouth really well on this one. All in all, a really nice balanced whiskey. Like I said previously, I think that this is more aimed towards bourbon drinkers. If you're someone who's gonna lean towards this whiskey thinking you're gonna get a lot of that rye characteristics, you're not going to get that at all on this one. There are some parts of it as well, but it's really sweet for a rye. Not that that's a bad thing. So what would I give this whiskey? Out of 100, which is what we do a rating on the channel, 0 to 100, I'd give this a solid 80. I think this is a great whiskey, and it's really well balanced as well. You get a lot of those sweet honey and like vanilla notes that probably come more from the corn, but then you also get like a really nice black pepper, and the rye spice comes through. A really nice spearmint and pear note on the nose there as well. I feel like this is a whiskey that as I drink through this bottle, the nose is just going to open up and it's going to change for the better. Rating in terms of value for money, we do A through F. Like A plus being the best value for money and F being worst value for money. I'm going to give this a B. I feel like for $75 I could probably spend that money on like some Sagamore rye stuff, and I really like the Sagamore rye stuff. And you can also get like High West single barrel double ryes for around $50 mark. So that's why I'm giving it a B. I don't think it's excellent value for money at all. I think it's good value for money. So that's why I give it a B. And if you're able to find these, or if you're able to pick one up for MSRP, I think you should definitely pick one up. I feel like it fills a hole a little bit in the market in terms of more of a sweeter rye. So I definitely like it for that. So with that being said, that's all we have time for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this review of Smoke Wagon's newest edition, the Bottled and Bond Rye. Thank you for joining us. And as we drink through the world's whiskies one glass at a time, cheers.